Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Oh, happy Labor Day. Not sure when this video is going to come out because I am about to head out of town for work, and so it's going to take me a little while to get back to editing. But out here walking around this morning, I got a lot of work to get done this weekend. Make the most of my time while I'm here and while there's no rain. My tractor has been out of commission for several weeks, and I'm going to put a video on the farm channel about that, walking through what all was going on with it, what had to be done to get it back in operational. But it is working now, and now I'm trying to get my food plot stuff prepared. So I'll spin around here. You can see I've got the food plot stretching on out through there. But because of the tractor being out of commission for weeks, things have gotten out of control. So I'm going to walk over here and show you this. This is the field where we were picking blackberries just recently, and you see it's over my head now. I mean, it is way up over my head. And we were picking blackberries in the first week of July, and here it is now, first week of September. So 2 months later, it's gone from where we can walk all through it with no issues to now it's up over my head. So the tractor's operational. I'm going to be spending hours and hours and hours out here trying to bush hog this stuff down. I'm going to take several weeks probably to get the bush hogging done, to get things ready for deer season, which will be here in, I guess, 3 weeks from now. Archery season will open. But my primary concern right now is to get this food plot prepared. So I'm doing just, because of the way that the land here on my farm lays, you see if I spin around here, I know the sun kind of whites it out, but I'm on the very top right here, and it plummets off on that side, and the other side is all hardwood timber. So I really only have the ridge tops here that are suitable for food plot. But what I'm doing is I'm making one real long skinny food plot running all along the top up here. And I've had one here for several years, but it's kind of, I let it get out of hand this year because of the tractor issues and travel for work and different things. But I'm also going to come in and I'm going to bush hog this section back here behind me down. Well, that sun is bright. Bush hog that section back there behind me down and disc it up and get it ready to put in another food plot. So it's going to almost look like a T shape up here. And what we're going to end up with is we're going to have our regular tree stand here. This is all persimmon trees back over here. We're going to have our regular tree stand back over here in the persimmon trees. So in case the deer come into the persimmons to feed, or if they come here into this food plot, then we'll have this corner of the T covered. And then this T, this arm here, is going to sweep all the way around, and it's going to come in over here near the hardwoods, the timber. And there's a tree stand over there, because a lot of times the deer will come into the food plot and into this field from in that timber there. And so that tree stand allows us to cover that intersection. I'm going to get over here. I got to get this bush hog out. I was waiting for the grass to kind of dry a little bit here before I start trying to chop it all down and mow it down. And it's drying pretty fast. It is hot. This sun is high and bright. I think it's going to get up to about 90 degrees today. So I'm going to get on this tractor and get to working. First I'm going to bush hog this section over here down. And then after I get that bush hog down, I'm going to put the disc on, and I'm going to start trying to chop it up to get it prepared for the seeding. But I'm going to wait to seed the food plot until we actually have rain in the forecast. Right now, there's no rain in the forecast for the next 7 days. And I don't want to put it out here because there's so many crows and doves around, and it is dove season. There are so many crows and doves around that they'll come in here and they will pick all the seeds, and the turkeys. They'll pick the seeds off the soil before the rain comes. So I'm going to wait until the day before a rain is forecast, a good probability of rain, before I start seeding this. So let's get over here and get to work, and we'll catch you a little bit later. Alright, we're back out here again today. It has been about 6 days since I came through the other day and disked this up. You can see kind of there what it's looking like. Spin around here. You can see it on back through there. There are still several places in here where there are some clumps of grass still surviving. There's still some more Johnson grass in here. I don't know if I'm going to come through and spray that again or what I'm going to do. But what I'm going to do today is, so I've disked this several times, as you saw, and actually you may not have seen everything in the video because the camera that I'm using right now, for the third time I guess now, it's the SD cards went corrupt in it. So I've had to go through, do a recovery of all the video clips. Still lost a bunch of video clips. I did manage to recover about half of the video files that was on the SD card. Thankfully, I learned my lesson last time, and about once a week I was backing it up. I mean, that's actually what I was in the process of trying to do with this, was I was trying to back it up, and the files went corrupt on it. So there's something with this camera that's doing that. And so for those of you who want to know, this is a Panasonic G7. It actually does a really good job, really good entry-level camera for photo and video, but I have since bought a G9, which is like one of the top-of-the-line Panasonic cameras you can get, especially for, it is the top-of-the-line photo camera, and it's really comparable to a Panasonic GH5 video recording camera. So it's a fantastic camera, but it's a lot bulkier, a lot bigger. And so when I'm doing this vlog style stuff, this G7 is just so much more convenient to grab. One thing I'm seeing while I'm out here, oh man, look at the size. These big persimmons are dropping. The ground is covered in them here. Look at this one. And they're already ripe. Very early in the year. These persimmon trees right here, all behind me, they always drop persimmons earlier than all the other surrounding persimmon trees. And I've even talked to biologists and individuals from the University of Tennessee and Tennessee Forestry Department, and they're shocked by how early these persimmons drop, and they're already sweet and ripe. Anyway, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go get the ripper. We call it a ripper. Some people call them a cultivator, different things like that. I'm going to get that on, and I'm going to run through here, and it'll just tear the soil up down 6 or 8 inches deep, and then I'll be able to come back over it again and just get it finished the way I want it to get ready to seed. So let's get that started now. Well, that ripped up really good. I'll spin it around here and show you. So that ripped up really good. It didn't go as deep as I thought, but I'll show you here an example of why it didn't go that deep. So keep in mind, this is on top of a ridge, and you see this is very light colored soil. There's not really any clay up here where all of our gardens are at, down at the bottom of the hill. That's all clay. Well, up here, this is just old pasture field, you know, soil that has had years and decades of grass and cow manure and everything on it. But this also is what has what they call pinnacle rock up here. So you see here, we got these large rocks just all over the place. This whole thing is covered, and we've hauled out truckloads of these big rocks from up here, and every time I come through and disc this or rip it or whatever, we just keep turning up more and more. My plan is going to be to get this cleaned out as much as we can, have this food plot here all fall and winter, and then next spring, instead of putting all this down as spring summer food plot like I normally do, I'm going to use half of this as our garden up here. So I'm going to seed the sections of this a little differently depending on the area that I'm planning on having as a garden for next year. So what I'll probably do is, in the area that I want to have a garden next year, I'm going to probably plant it heavily with daikon radish. And the reason I use the daikon radish is they grow 10 or 12 inches down, and they really help to aerate the soil down deep in an area that's really hard packed like this. So I'm going to try to figure out my plan for what I'm going to plant to get that in, get that ready. Forecast is really not calling for any rain the next 2 days, and then I'm heading out of town yet again for work, and it's scheduled, the forecast is calling for rain while I'm out of town. So what I'm probably going to do is have everything ready, and I'll probably come out here tomorrow and go ahead and just broadcast the seed before I leave, hoping that the birds, we have minimal bird activity with birds coming in picking up the seed before the rain gets here on Tuesday. Hopefully that's the plan anyway. So anyway, this worked up really good. You can see it back there behind me. So it's a really long narrow strip here that we've got, and we got the persimmons over here on this side. Eventually we're going to have these sawtooth oaks back in through here. They're going to eventually be mature and dropping acorns, but you know, they're only 3 years old at this point. But all right, I'm gonna get over here, start going through my seed, and try to figure out exactly what I'm going to plant in here and have that laid out and ready to go.